He's looking to get his hands on the inside. I'm blocking this, and while doing that, I'm driving into him. And that's your first drill. So practice that, driving with the toes.
Okay, now we're going to go over more like a conceptual idea. You're going to need a training partner to try this out with. Might look a bit odd at the start, but give it a go with your training partners and let me know how you feel about this. So this is where we're stuck inside a closed guard, and this is more like a wrestling / MMA approach to dealing with the closed guard. So let's go into the closed guard for now. And very common way of approaching this situation will be I want to maintain distance, so I get my arms in such a position to try to keep him flat on his back, and I look to either open the guard here or more usual stand up and open the guard. While I'm doing all of that, a very common pressure to feel from your opponent is him pulling his knees into his chest and trying to tie me up. If he ties me up and then I look at to try to cross separation, build my way back up to here and then restart. How about turning that around completely? So instead of him dealing with somebody coming away from him, me resisting his energy of pulling me in, I instead just go into this position. So I'm on my toes, my back is flat, and I'm driving my shoulder underneath his chin, and I'm actually pushing into him. So completely the opposite way of trying to sit up into this position and resisting his pressure. He wants to pull me in, so I go in. Now, while doing that, I want to try and avoid him getting an overhook. That's what's going to cause me a little bit of trouble. So I don't have my elbow on the mat and he gets an overhook, and then I have to deal with that. So while driving into him, my forearms, kind of like in a stand-up wrestling position, I'm using my elbows and my forearms to control his arms here. One thing I have to be careful of is if my elbow travels too far away from his rib cage, he can quickly go on the inside of that arm and get an overhook, okay? And that is problematic. So my elbows actually stay close to his ribs, and if he's trying to get his arm underneath now, I'm blocking with my elbows. If he's trying to go over my arm, that's not really a problem because of the position of my arm. But I don't want him to trick me out and get me to reach out and then boom, he's here. We have to get this back into a safe position. So hands around about the shoulders, elbows close to his rib cage. He's looking to get his hands on the inside. I'm blocking this, and while doing that, I'm driving into him. And that's your first drill. So practice that, driving with the toes, my back is flat, and I'm controlling his arms. For MMA, anytime you can rotate those elbows over and very effective striking. For just grappling, we don't have that, but we can just kind of chill here, have our balance, driving with the toes on the mat, and do not give your opponent the overhook. Now, this is where you need your partner. What you will feel when you're doing this is your partner needs to make space to try to attack your arms. When they're pushing away, that's when we stand up. So we're always going with our opponent's energy, for lack of a better word. When he's pulling me in, I go in. When they're pushing me away, I go away. Which is supposed to be what grappling is about. We're not supposed to resist what our opponent is doing. He's pulling me in, I go into him. He's pushing me away, I go away from him. So I have the good hand positioning, elbows tight to the rib cage, toes on the mat, I drive in. Him working to do that, there was a moment where he was pushing me away enough that I got to a standing position. When I stand up, I want to make sure that my knees are tight. Pinch your knees in here, so his hips can't wiggle side to side. If my knees are loose, his hips can start going side to side, which can cause problems. So instead, I want my knees pinched, and then a slight turn of the hip, push just below the knee, and it should be easy enough to open up the legs. But, can't stress this enough, do not try and stand up as long as they're pulling you in. He's pulling me in, I stay in. I assume I've gotten a takedown, so I'm ahead. If it's MMA, I've got striking, I'm ahead, I'm the boss, I'm in the lead. He has to make the next move, and that's where he's going to try and create space to attack my legs, attack my arms, go to any sort of different position. In doing that, gives me the energy to stand up. So you're going to have to do this a bunch of times until that feels comfortable, okay? So let's look at that again. So toes on the mat, control just below the shoulders, elbows close to the rib cage, chest to chest, shoulder underneath his chin, driving with the toes, flat back, deal with these arms, I wait. Okay, there was a moment there. Bit of a push away, that was my moment to get up. I get up, my knees are very strong, pressuring in, slight turn at the hip, hand below the knee, push, and now we can start setting up your passing game. So, like I said, it's going to be something practice with a training partner and get a feel. And you guys are on the bottom, uki. Anytime they go to try to stand, you pull them back in again. And you've got to go between those two pressures. You've got to be ready for them pulling, you go in, pushing, you go away.